This week in our collective heads, wanna put an old rumor to bed. Stereotype that you've all heard, how we're all just angry video game nerds. Most of us have actual jobs, kids and families and cats and dogs, yeah. This week in our collective heads, this week in our collective heads.
Welcome to This Week in Our Collective Heads. I'm Patrick, joined by Owen. Actually, technically, I'm joining you. Yeah.
You in my house.
It's all different. Things are strange. We're giving you gaming news like we do every single week. This week, we actually happen to be in the same town.
Welcome back to
It's
Texas,
pretty cool.
buddy.
Thank you. It's nice to be back.
It's a great state of Texas.
Nice to see everybody and be away from Florida, man, a little bit longer. Which isn't bad.
I think I asked you yesterday if you had started a Florida Man 2.0 chat.
I thought about it, but I don't. I haven't tried wrestling gators yet.
No,
and I don't have a meth problem, so
that's good.
I don't think I could really do a Florida Man justice.
I was told meth is bad.
Yeah, I heard it's bad.
Don't do meth, kids.
It's not as cool as you may think it is. But yeah, we're here giving you the gaming news like we do every single week. We had some really heavy news.
Yeah.
And we also had some weird news. I wanted to start off real quick by talking about Machinima. We talked about Machinima being purchased
3 weeks ago.
Yep, 2-3 weeks ago, and the all the videos being removed. Which from a historical perspective,
We were so bummed.
yeah, I mean this is a big part of the internet. Screw Attack. Sorry, I should finish my thought that Machinima has now laid off the rest of their employees. The last 81, I guess, that were Machinima, and it's just gone. And then Screw Attack, another I would consider a gaming giant, has been purchased.
YouTube giant.
Yeah. And Screw Attack's been purchased, and the name changed, which I don't understand.
I get Machinima in terms of it sounds like they're keeping the Machinima name, and they don't care about the employees. So in that case, it seems like they bought the brand and they're going to keep the brand. I still have a giant problem with getting rid of the library. That's just like we talked about, like with the digital age. I wonder. Or not wonder, we have the opportunity to pretty much save everything. Like,
yeah, why not?
Why not? And it goes along with that brand. Like, even now with other YouTube people that I watch, like, every once in a while, I'm just like, man, I want to go remember the good old days of these people. Or maybe I'm a new fan and I want to see like what they're famous for. And but Screw Attack doesn't make any sense. No. Why would you change the name?
No.
Why buy it?
It's a complete rebrand. They're going to be their death battles, and it's dumb. I think that they're trying to get on the hype because gaming has an oversaturated market, as we know, being part of it.
Yeah.
It's oversaturated. So I think that's part of it. They're trying to get ahead of that. But I think rebranding is dumb. Hi, Megan. Megan's decided in the chat. I think rebranding is dumb when you have a known entity like that. You don't buy out Coke and then call it something else.
And this is where I just understand that I'm not a good businessman, because I'm sure that there's some reason. Do they have some kind of assets? Like, do they own some kind of IP that they just want to use on a different channel? Like, I'm sure there's something that I don't get, obviously.
Yeah.
But I just don't get on Machinima's end. I don't get wiping out the library. Okay, later employees, that was kind of written in the sand as soon as they bought you.
Yeah.
It looks like the same thing's maybe happening with Screw Attack. I don't know if all those employees are getting canned too.
I don't know. They've had a big revolving door. So I was trying to think of like the people that were connected to Screw Attack, which is like Pro Jared and to a lesser extent Angry Video Game Nerd.
Yeah.
But his was more of like a partnership thing. But yeah, I don't know if they've like cleaned house there or anything. But it's just it's a weird time.
Yeah. But what's not weird is more games coming to Nintendo Switch.
Yes, lots of games coming to Nintendo Switch. Yeah, including sorry, I could lean over here.
So this was the Switch Online thing.
Yeah,
we're getting Super Mario Brothers, as in American Super Mario's, as in Doki Doki Panic.
Yep. Which I find as a fun game. I had the time where I was like I had to hate it because it was.
As soon as you find out.
As soon as you find out.
You got to have the hipster gamer thing. Like, I like Lost Levels because that's the real Super Mario 2.
One. I'm OG, but OG Japan. I'm otaku. But yeah, it's stupid. And then Kirby's Adventure coming, which Kirby's Adventure did get onto Wii U. Mm-hmm. So I'm glad it's going to other places. I think Kirby's a really cool series that doesn't get enough credit for how great it is for young gamers.
Yeah, and especially after him being like the starting Smash Pokemon.
Yeah.
Not Pokemon, but the starting Smash.
Starting
character.
Smash, yeah, Smash character.
It felt like a Pokemon because you were like, Kirby,
Yep.
I choose you because
Yep.
I'm stuck with you in World of Light. But yeah, it's cool. I'm continuing. Like I still have the service because it was only $20 a year. I'm just waiting for my Super Nintendo games.
Yeah. John said, "What's up, ASL?"
What? 31M
Something like that.
TX.
I'll make sure the audio.
USA.
I don't know if he's talking about audio having an issue, but
ASL means age, sex, location.
oh, that one. I was thinking American Sign Language.
No.
I'm
Old?
Yeah, I'm not that old. I'm not that old.
Did you miss the AIM thing?
Oh no,
like
no!
the
I was a
AIM
big
phenomenon?
part of AIM. I was a big part of that.
Your long away messages with like the cool wallpaper
yeah,
and like
yeah. I had
if
that in
you
my
were having
MySpace.
like an issue with a girl or something, there was lots of angst in your away messages.
And they were slightly cryptic. It was like
Yeah.
vague booking back before Facebook was
Before
a
it was
thing.
cool.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My MySpace like had a really cool soundtrack.
Yeah,
too.
when your girlfriend gets mad at you for not being number one on your top 8, I had that fight.
Jesus, I never had that fight. Thankfully, that would have freaking.
She's like,
horrible.
"Why am I number 3?"
Like, well, I just met you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What have you been playing lately, by the way? We're talking about Switch. You been playing Switch a lot, or what have you been playing?
No, so I'm played Kingdom Hearts 3, as some people might have noticed me.
Sure.
I don't know if I'm gonna pick it back up again.
Yeah.
It's not good. Like, and I understand that it's good in terms of critics, so don't listen to me. Apparently, I'm in the minority here, but I think I've outgrown what some people are just like. That's how they talk in Disney. And I'm like, no, they have quality lines in Disney. They have a quality script in Disney. Do not insult Disney by saying Kingdom Hearts is just Disney speak. No, I know Disney speak quite well. Thank you very much. All of those movies in there, Big Hero 6, Tangled, Toy Story, etc. Amazing movies.
They have fun, witty, I wouldn't say witty, like hilarious dialogue. Sometimes subtle, little jokes being thrown in there. This is really dry.
I can't stand how stupid Sora is. Like, it seems like he regressed in terms of a character.
Yeah.
Like, and there's probably some person out there that can say like why that is according to the story that he's regressed. I don't care.
Is that part of his heart that when the nobody was created and all the confusing things?
So now he's just all about like, our heart's gonna do the best, man, but I don't understand what's happening.
Yeah, Ash Ketchum has more depth than Sora.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's sad. And I'll say, even my wife has admitted, she was like, yeah, I'm only doing this for Disney characters.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, that's what this is about for me.
And I wanted to do it just to finish the story. Like,
sure.
I've seen some other people. I will say, in terms of the villains' dialogue, the organization's dialogue is pretty good. You don't get to play with them enough, and it's like, I realize that it's what it was in the other games, where you would get into a big battle, and there's a cutscene.
Yeah,
I get it, fine, but I live in 2019 now, where maybe instead of having a cutscene every single fight, maybe you could just have some like dialogue where I'm literally walking around and you're talking to me.
I think The Last of Us like spoiled us on that and showing that you don't have to have a cutscene to have not only impactful dialogue but actually telling the story.
Yeah,
you can play the game and tell the story at the same time, as opposed to like I think it's the old school mentality of Final Fantasy where it's you did the battle. Now stop and sit down and relax and watch. And
wait a minute.
Yeah, but that's kind of how I felt was like back in the day playing like Final Fantasy 7 or 8, where it's like, oh, now I'm gonna explore and I'm gonna learn a couple things, but then we're gonna have a cutscene.
It just feels like the game didn't evolve with the times. It feels very much like they started it right after Kingdom Hearts 2. Yeah. It feels like it came right and maybe it did, and I'm sure there was some development going into it. They had a whole bunch of spin-off games, so we're never really going to know exactly when it started dev, but it feels like it started right after 2 on PlayStation 2 and never got brought into the 21st century, even though the PlayStation 2 is in the 21st century.
I think it's an example of like when you should have scrapped a game and started over. And if they did scrap the game and start over, was this a rush job?
Yeah. And people aren't going to say it, but Final Fantasy 15 was a better game than this.
I would agree.
Sorry, like they have those walking conversations. Like as much as it's kind of an empty world, and the end of the story got messed up in 15 in terms of they at least tried. Like the true development for this version of 15 that we got was only 5 years, and that's still a long time. But it's not that 13 years. We were waiting that long.
We waited that long to us. We're like, you had this much time.
Yeah, and I know part of all of this is how Square treats Nomura. Who, if you don't know, is the director, the guy in charge of Kingdom Hearts. They told him he was going to be on the Final Fantasy VII remake, and he's like, "What?"
Yeah.
So
he found out when they announced it.
Yeah, and so I know that this is partly on Square, and I'm not going to blame Nomura for this because they treat him kind of crappy, from what I can tell. Like, I'm like, why don't you just go hang out with Kojima? Like, he's having a good time at Sony, man. Like. You can just be like, hey, yo, Coach, can I get a little bit of that?
It'd be a nice yin-yang, though, thing, like, where it's like, because Kojima gets so, like, dark and cynical and depressed, and then we could just have, have a little bit more happiness and just straightforward fun. It'd be really good. They could totally do that. I've been playing Dead Cells, by the way, which
Kevin will be happy with you.
Kevin's very happy about it, I'm sure. I thought it was going to be good. I liked what I saw of it. I wouldn't say it's too difficult. There's some things that I dislike a little bit, but I will say it's addictive. It is roguelike in a sense of, once you get your bearings, you kind of figure out what you're doing, then you can, So
does the map change every time you die?
Every time.
Okay.
Every time you die, the map changes.
Randomly generated?
If you pretty much randomly generated.
I would think it would happen.
Yeah, it's pretty randomly generated. If it isn't, then I've seen quite a few maps. But I find like I'm either in mode where I'm collecting mode, or I'm in mode where I'm rushing to get to the next area to not take damage. And also like there's timed doors. It's like you can't get through unless you've gone so fast. So I like it though. If you like roguelike games, if you like.
It's known to be one of the best indie games of the last ever.
The music's good. The animation and the running and stuff, for some reason, reminds me kind of a little bit of like a Prince of Persia like kind of feel, like an updated Prince of Persia.
Interesting.
Yeah, in regards to like it's the run cycle, which is really
weird.
It's
a side scroller though,
it's
right?
a side scroller. Old school Prince of Persia. I'm talking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on like the PC Prince of Persia. So side scroller. I really like it though.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's talk about some more gaming news. We had some pretty heavy stuff on EA, right?
Yeah, and before we get to EA, just because it's gonna be there's a big EA block coming, but before we get to that, another continuing story. We mentioned Machinima and how they've kind of gone away. ScrewAttack's gone away, and there's looking like GameStop might just be on its way out. So they recently announced that the last time we talked about GameStop, that we said that they were shopping it, and we were like, who's gonna buy you? Like, you just keep messing. I don't understand.
I thought the buyout was gonna happen,
and turns out GameStop has said that they are not going to sell. They have basically taken their company off the market. Upon this announcement, their shares dropped substantially.
Yep.
Are they done? Like, when do we start hearing the shop closures like KB Toys?
I think it'll happen this year, and I hate saying that. I have friends who work for GameStop. I hate saying it, but I feel like the business model, in combination with I wouldn't call them predatory practices, but the sell practices of them buying used games and reselling games. You pairing that with the advent of the internet, and now we have, if I want to use the game, I can go on Amazon and go Facebook Marketplace. I'm on Facebook Marketplace all the time. If I want a new game, I can have it shipped to my house. It's usually there the day of launch. I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to deal with someone asking me if I want protection on my disc. So I feel like the internet, I think GameStop killed the internet. GameStop killed GameStop, but the internet helped in showing like you can't have those kind of stores anymore that aren't a community. Because the used stores I like, you walk in and it's like a community.
You
talk
remember
gaming.
Funko Land?
Dude, Funko Land was awesome.
Yeah, that was my youth.
Yeah.
before I got the Super Nintendo, and like whenever I just started seeing the Super Nintendo games in the store.
Yeah.
And that's those moments where like you like really remember, like I don't know if you had to beg your parents as much as I did, where I'm just like, 64 is out, like hey, can't get this it's just Mario 64.
Well, you have to convince them of like, well, you already have a Nintendo, but
this one's 10 years old.
We had a lot
so
of that.
the problem that I see, like you mentioned the thing of like buying, I think they bought too many, like that the fact that they didn't limit the game sales, where it's like, hey, if you want to bring us Call of Duty, we'll take it. But the fact, like, why do they keep buying copies of Madden 95?
Yeah.
Like, why? You just shouldn't. Like, there's that. And then also, this is a weird take, but I think that ThinkGeek was a big problem too. Because ThinkGeek was cool when it was online. Like, it's like, man, I'm feeling something nerdy right now, Patrick. I really want to go online. Like, man, I really would like something Star Wars related. I would go to thinkgeek.com.
Yeah.
But in GameStop, once they bought ThinkGeek, half their store became flooded with just all this crap, and you see how crappy the merchandise is in person, where it's not that quality, it's extremely cheaply made, which is what would happen after you bought from ThinkGeek, but you wouldn't care because it's one item, but now it's just shoved in your face.
It's everything. Well, it's either crap quality stuff or really expensive collectibles, and to me, it's an oversaturation, them trying to bleed more money out of people, and to me, it's one of two things. Either you have a decent collectible kind of store, which means that you'd have to have good quality stuff, and you grab the whales with that.
Yeah.
And then the other side of this coin of the used game market and video game market, you get the kids for that.
Yeah.
Like you get the young people, and of course you get adults with expendable income. But it's hard to sell, especially if you're a parent bringing a kid into GameStop and you see just trash all over.
Yeah.
The mini what are they? The mystery box things that unboxing.
The loot boxes.
Yeah, it's basically in real life loot boxes where it's like you got a toy in here, that kind of stuff being shoved in your face.
Yeah.
I can't tell you when I do go to GameStop, there's always some kid hassling their parents about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But
it just, from like our perspective, it just becomes this like hate thing, and
We
obviously
love
you see
geek
that
stuff, yeah.
I have plenty of stuff where I am one of these consumers. It's just you really see like that kind of thing, and I think that hurt GameStop having that as well.
Yeah, Robert said then they're buying back iPhones. He expected them to buy gold. Yeah, it's just like anything. Please, anything or anything to like try to keep us afloat.
And Robert's somebody that can tell you, like, he's well known in his GameStop.
Yeah.
We talk about it all the time. Like, I'm pretty sure like he probably is like half their like monthly income just with he has built that rapport like you're talking about. Like they know Rob. That I think he's even told me at times where they would like call him and be like, "You want to reserve this one?" Like that. Well, that's the kind of thing that my GameStop doesn't do.
Yeah, no, my GameStop doesn't do it at all.
They don't care. Like you can tell that whenever you get lucky and you get that one rep that like really actually cares about that game and you know is into it and will have that conversation with you and doesn't care about selling you useless protections. But that's just not. Yeah, that's what happens.
And that being said, I know they have to say they have to say, "Do you want to buy the protection?" I know they have to say that.
I'm a company man. I understand.
But if you have like a whole conversation with them and then they talk to you about that, then you kind of you understand. Oh, that's part of their job. But people like to buy. They don't like to be sold. Like so, if I go in there, I want to talk gaming. Like I'm in there because I like gaming. Let's just talk gaming.
Yeah.
Like, don't bug me about pre-sales. Like I'm already in there. Something brought me in there. Let's talk.
Yeah, I didn't show up for nothing.
Yeah.
Like I came in ready to spend money. I don't go to GameStop to window shop. This isn't the Amazon like it's not like going to Best Buy where you're like this is the Amazon showroom. I go to GameStop because I want to buy something gaming. Like it just happens. It just doesn't happen very often for me anymore because I do this show. I kind of already know what I want.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, you get that itch, and you're like, "I want to go to a store."
Yeah,
those bricks, those mortars. Good stuff.
I like window shopping. Yeah. I'll admit it. Like Whitney hates it. My wife hates it. But like, I like going to the mall. No. And like, you're like,
I'm with you, Whitney.
Yeah, so like, I don't mind going to the mall. Like, I'm like, I want to get a couple things, and I may look in a couple stores.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, Amazon's got me.
I get the knowledge like once a year. Once a year, I'm like, man, I'm just gonna go some stores.
Yeah.
and I just go by myself early in the morning. It's quiet.
Yeah, I get it. I don't go there but
I worked there for too long to like go to the mall.
Yeah, I didn't work in a mall like at all. But I don't know. Mall is kind of always a cool place for me. Let's see. I was going to mention on other than EA stuff. I guess. So Assassin's Creed 3 being remastered, which I think is an amazing thing. It's
really?
One of the
Okay, go ahead.
I love Assassin's Creed.
Okay.
I think 3's Black Flag.
No.
Right? Wait, hold on. Oh shoot! I thought it was Black Flag. Which one's?
Why would Black Flag need to get remastered?
Never
it's already
mind.
on PS4.
Never mind. What am I thinking of?
Black...
No, 3's
the Revolution.
3's okay. Sorry, I had it mixed up. 3's okay. It's not as bad as Syndicate.
No,
it's not as bad.
It's still
as
a
Unity.
mainline AC.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think.
The number. It's the Revolution. It's the Revolutionary War.
Yeah, which was okay. It was okay. I think that they did the standalone one that they did, and I'm forgetting the name of it, where you play as a slave, a former slave, was better than that. It was
former slave.
Yeah, it was a side, kind of like they did with Assassin's Creed Rogue.
Okay.
They did one where you were a former slave, and that had a better. Yeah, that had considerably better storyline. So yeah, three is meh.
Sorry, Robert said as far as GameStop goes, it's like small town, only black guy here. They know me.
Like, you know me. I'm just thinking of that.
I love
scene
you so much.
I'm
Rob.
just thinking of that. Scene
No, but the other thing that he said, he takes his son because that's the closest thing to a toy store, which I get from the Think Geek stuff. I do get that.
From
like Toys R Us ain't around no more.
Well, if I was a kid. Because I'm a big kid, but
love GameStop.
I would have loved GameStop back in the day because I loved going into there's like KB Toys because we're a little older.
Yeah.
KB Toys, Toys R Us. When I was really younger, Toys R Us was like one of the places you could buy games. KB Toys, you could buy games. I actually remember the first time seeing games in a Best Buy was a Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
But I mean, I like going to toy stores, but at the same time, the video games are amazing, and it has both. Of course.
So before you got confused on 3, and I thought you were about to like tell me like how good
no, I misremembered that
my
game
thing
was
is
a
why
weird
are you
transition.
doing this? Like, it's coming out quick. It's not anything where they're like announcing it and saying it's like 6 months away or anything. It's something to fill the gap of the early part of 2019. Make a quick buck is really what I feel about it.
Probably.
If there's somebody out there that likes Assassin's Creed 3, whatever, that's fine. It was just like, there's things where I look at it, it's just like whenever I look at them remastering like Final Fantasy X.
Yeah.
Who's asking for this game? Like, if I'm asking for one, like, I would say like
8.
remaster 1. Like, give me like a full rebuild of the original AC or something.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That would be really cool to be able to experience that story.
Yeah.
Because Final Fantasy is all about story. And if they took the storyline of the first Final Fantasy and made that an action RPG, I think that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Because nowadays you need an action RPG. If it's timed, you take out a lot of your audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other, I'm going to cut one other things because I don't think it's as big this week. But before we get to all the EA stuff, the fact that Xbox Live might be coming to mobile in some capacity. So they show up at GDC and they say, hey, we're going to let this SDK, which if you don't know what an SDK is, it's like a thing where you can develop for it. And, you know, people who use Android a lot probably know it a lot more.
Yeah.
But we're going to let it come to mobile. You're going to be able to put your Xbox Live thing on iOS. You're going to be able to put it on Android. You're going to be able to put it on the Nintendo Switch.
And immediately
what are
I'm
they doing?
Like, what are you doing? And why isn't Sony on board? Well, actually, I know why Sony's not on board, but...
are you telling me that I'm going to be able to get achievements from Zelda Breath of the Wild? Because I'll play it again.
That would be amazing, and I would do it too. If you can do that, if they make it, because I think that the way Microsoft is, we've been talking about this for forever, but Microsoft is positioning itself, maybe not even for this year, but they're positioning themselves for some huge movements. And if you have this as starting out to get it part of the community, because they want it to be part, like they're trying to get Mixer going and all these other integrations. But if you can have Xbox Live the connection to these other areas and have achievements, be able to see what your friends are doing, not just be like, oh, well, he plays Xbox, so I don't know what he's doing. No, you pull up the person's thing and be like, oh, look, they're playing this game. They've been playing this.
Can you give me some built-in, you know how you have to use your phone for Nintendo voice chat? Can I use Xbox Live voice chat
to play my Nintendo Switch?
Can I do that? Mm-hmm. It's nuts. There's something crazy going on here. I don't know, and it's really weird that they're doing that. Last month or earlier this month now, time flies when you're having fun, kids. Yeah. Nintendo says, we don't know what's going on, as far as the console space in the future. Yeah. Right now the Switch is great, but 3 or 4 years is Microsoft, and I know Sony's acknowledged it a little bit too, but in terms of what Microsoft might be doing in terms of making a partnership with Nintendo, can you imagine the virtual console on the Xbox One?
It's mind-blowing, and the fact that Nintendo okayed this is such a big deal to me that it shows me that door's been open.
Yeah, can you imagine Nintendo doing that in 1993?
No. This door's not been cracked open. This door's been flung open.
It's crazy.
This is amazing. It's wonderful. And I mean, even looking at, and you can talk about the trash that's on the Nintendo Switch eShop.
Yeah,
because there's there. But they've swung it open. They're like, you know what? We want those developers to come here. We're sorry for the Wii U.
They sold 16 million units in under 2 years.
Yeah.
They can have some crap on their e-store. I also was having this thought when I put this story on here. Did Fortnite have something to do with this? Did the cross-play thing of Fortnite and Xbox and Nintendo first going nana boo boo to Sony before Sony caved? And I still am on both ways with that. But did Fortnite cause Microsoft and Nintendo to all of a sudden start forming this potentially super mega awesome partnership that would be the craziest thing that's ever happened in gaming?
It would be beautiful and wonderful, and Sony's still going to do all right.
Yeah.
But if you're a one console house,
yeah,
it's going to be really hard to ignore that type of partnership.
Yeah. Or if you're a me and Patrick, we are power consumers. We own all the systems. Yes. Full disclosure. Yeah. But down the road, what if if my Xbox and my Switch are talking to each other, I got my Switch for on the road, out and about, or even just sitting in the chair, and I can still play with Xbox people that make those achievements, do everything, and then I have my Xbox on my big 4K TV. Yeah. It's gorgeous. I don't know how you,
How do you justify?
I'm a Sony fan guy, and I would still be thinking about that.
We both are. I mean, I have, and I will say, I play more on my PlayStation than I play on my Xbox. I think you're about the same on that, right?
I haven't touched my Xbox in 6 months.
Yeah, so I have some games that I play on Xbox. It's usually because Xbox One X. I play some higher graphics games. It's wonderful. It sings in that capacity.
Play some AC Odyssey on that. Yeah,
it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And then
have to.
Yeah, so that's why I do that. But at the same time, I'm playing my PlayStation constantly. Spider-Man, because of God of War, because of all these games that are amazing quality games. So as we mentioned, if Xbox is positioning themselves from a communal standpoint with Nintendo, which means they get good quality games from Nintendo, maybe seeing a Zelda type game pop up on Nintendo on an Xbox or something like that, where Nintendo says, we're not really good at high powered games, but we could do this.
Who's the president of Xbox? Phil Spencer.
Phil Spencer, yeah.
Imagine. So I'm gonna finish my thought on this. Just Sony's not gonna be at E3. Xbox is. We know that Nintendo is going to be doing their Direct as they usually do.
Yep.
But imagine Phil Spencer walking out onto the stage. In his hand is a Nintendo Switch. And he says something to, just anything.
Yeah.
Pick any announcement. You can now have achievements on all third-party games. Let's say it's not all Nintendo games at first or something like that, but anything. But just the image is in my head right now of Phil Spencer having a Switch in his hand.
It would
on the
be
Xbox stage.
It is the equivalent of the Sega and Nintendo partnership that is happening now. if Sega was still making games.
Yeah.
If Sega was still making consoles.
Okay.
That's right, consoles.
Yeah.
So if that happened back when like the Dreamcast was going on, we would have lost it because no one at that time thought, oh, Sega's going to go away.
Yeah.
Not saying either one of these entities are going away, but this type of partnership is unheard of. I'd love to see it as long as they still have some type of competition, because any competition breeds ingenuity.
Absolutely.
And if you have, in my opinion, if you have 2 players, it's even harder. Having 3 players involved, major players, really helps. And the PC crowd for the 4th one really pushes the boundaries of what graphics should be. Yeah. But in regards to ingenuity, the PC crowd, other than VR, which hasn't really pushed the boundaries.
Granted, everything about this is all speculation from me and him. This is probably some speculation that you'll just see across the web, but just the fact that little headline popped up and it was just this little light bulb went off on my head, and then my mind started running wild on like everything that could possibly happen just because of this little like Xbox Live SDK available on the Switch.
That's a huge deal, though. That's a huge deal, and I love it. How do you want to start off this EA bonanza?
And EA is having themselves a week. I'm going to start with the bad part of this, at least in my opinion.
Sure.
And this is not going to be an EA bashing session because they're having a great week.
Yeah.
But Disney said that they're happy with EA, and that's the weirdest thing. What? Like, I understand you got to say that because you're Disney. Like, but at the same time, do they have so much money? Do they really not care?
They said it during a recorded shareholders meeting.
Okay.
So
maybe I didn't see that.
Yeah. So
okay.
No, it's okay. I had to dig through it. I'm like, this is stupid. This is dumb. I don't understand it. And then I realized, oh, this is what they're saying to the public. This is what they're saying to their shareholders. That's not what they're probably saying to EA.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I think this was a. There were some lines in there that I thought were overboard, but I really think that this was a play from a political standpoint. Also, I don't know how their contract looks and if there's penalties in regards to pulling the contract. So Disney may be riding it out and being like, okay, let's see how the Fallen Order works.
Yeah.
Let's see what you can actually do for us. Disney's not doing well in the parks. For those of you who aren't Disney fanatics like me, the parks aren't making as much profit as they usually do.
It's because they're so expensive.
They're expensive, but they're raising the price because there's so many people in there. Yeah. But
those attractions ain't cheap.
Yeah, yeah. Now they were doing poorly. They're starting to do a little bit. They're basically making profit, but not as much as they could be making. When Star Wars Land opens up, it's going to be gangbusters at that point. Yeah, because Toy Story Land opened up and people were like, it's not a lot to it. It's not worth a trip. So
for example, me and my wife and some of our friends are now planning a trip for early 2021.
Yeah,
because of Star Wars.
And I'll be joining you. I'll be driving over there.
We thought about because we're having our kid in June. Yeah. Our friends just had their kid here in October. And we were like, do we care if the kids can remember Disney World or not? And I was like, well, it's either now or 5 to 10 years from now. And I said, Star Wars Land's open next year. I'm going now.
Now, the kids won't know. The kids won't obviously, remember it. But early, as you probably know, early memories at any point, kids pick up on emotion more than anything. Yeah. And if you're having fun, and it's gonna be great. Pick great pictures for you. Your kid's gonna love it.
Get the kid in a little Mickey Mouse hat. It'll be cute.
It's great. They even
while I'm riding around in the Millennium Falcon.
Yes, but the parks they're doing okay. They could be doing better. The movies have been making money. Yeah, but critically,
7 and 8 did great. Solo did not do great, or as great as they wanted it.
The one thing that's keeping Disney making tons of money, 2 things: Pixar, right? And Marvel.
Absolutely.
Marvel Cinematic Universe is making them insane. Endgame's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
And I think that they're okay losing a little bit of money, seeing what happens with EA because they're not used to doing gaming, like video game stuff. They're used to just saying, put whatever you want on the video game and not caring.
Yeah. So we've got the Disney Infinity 2.0, which, again, 2.0 and 3.0 were terrible or anything. But totally toys to life money making experiences. Yeah.
And I bought them.
Yeah, I
And
have, I have a thing somewhere.
I bought a bunch of Marvel ones, and I'll probably buy now that it's no longer a thing. I'll
Yeah.
probably buy others just to have in my collection. But I think this was a business decision for how they wanted to phrase it, because in those kind of conversations, if they said they weren't happy about it, or if they said something really negative, it could affect stocks of either one of the companies.
Well, especially when you got a report that you didn't make as much money as you expected to. Like, the thing that I've always thought is the craziest thing, and I work for a very large company, like the fact that we made money, we made profit,
Yeah.
but we didn't make as much profit as we
Yeah.
expected, stock goes down.
Yeah.
It's the thing that blows my mind.
It happened with Nintendo.
Yeah.
If you didn't hear about that, Nintendo announcing their sales, which still sold really well, but
Yeah.
it didn't sell the goal that they wanted to sell or it's not going to hit the fiscal year.
20 million. They're not going to
Yeah.
get 20 million units.
Yeah. Boo-hoo.
So they adjusted their expectation to 17 million. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh no.
Oh no, that's horrible. Yeah, that's being realistic, and again, the console being out for a couple years, now they need to figure out how to bolster the users that they currently have and get new users, and that's fine. But that's still a respectable amount of consoles for $300 a pop.
Yeah. And we say all this, I'm expecting good things from Jedi Fallen Order because of the developer that I'm about to praise quite a bit. But the fact that they say that they're happy with Star Wars, what you said makes sense, but behind closed doors, I can't see how you can possibly be happy with it.
I don't think they are.
But Jedi Fallen Order, something to look forward to, because Respawn is on it. Respawn, the makers of Titanfall, and what I've found out from this week, that Titanfall 2 is apparently a lot better than... I've heard people say it's the best single-player FPS campaign that they've ever played.
Yeah, it's great. It's great, but it had the Titanfall name, and people either weren't happy or they heard bad things about Titanfall. It didn't sell enough. It didn't have a reception.
Titanfall 2 got 6 million sold, which is not good.
Again, if I made a game and it sold 6 million, I'd be like, that's really cool. But the amount of money and the expectation, like how much, like Tomb Raider, didn't sell as well as they wanted. Still sold okay.
Yeah,
but
they said that it's probably going to take a break because it's not doing as good. So
We'll get
the creators of Titanfall and soon to be Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, which again, looking forward to it, they went and shadow dropped a BR in the Titanfall universe. So over the weekend, Jeff Keighley tweets out something might be coming. Dr. Disrespect, which is a major streamer, and several other people had been brought in and they were NDA'd and they kind of were hinting at a game coming. And then they come out with a video. They start explaining a game called Apex Legends.
Yep.
If you look at it, it's kind of like a Blackout, COD Blackout with a little bit of Overwatch thrown in there with different classes. Into this video comes available now.
Yep. I literally got a polo from Owen. Marco, if you're not on Marco Polo, it's great, by the way. It's a great app.
Yeah.
So he basically sent me a video message, just like, I've been playing it, and I'm like, what game? I had to like look it up because they shadow dropped it to the point where I didn't even know what the heck he was talking about.
Yeah.
It looks great. Everyone's of course asking, is this the Fortnite killer? Just go away.
It's not true.
It's not going to be a Fortnite killer,
It
but
might
it's
be a Blackout killer.
maybe a Blackout killer for free.
I don't like saying killer things, but
Sure.
So that's the other thing. Available now.
Yeah.
Free to play.
Yep.
Somebody saw a little something that Epic is doing over there with a little game that you mentioned that you may have heard of called Fortnite.
Yep.
And they dropped this game completely free. The only microtransactions in it are skins. There are loot boxes, but you can just straight up buy the currency and buy the skin if you want to, from what I can tell. I haven't figured it out, but the loot box system is similar to that of Overwatch. You get like 3 items in it.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not the greatest thing in the world, but for somebody like me who doesn't care, I'm gonna end up throwing them a couple dollars anyway to buy the other 2 characters.
Yeah.
You can get them organically, by the way. It's just gonna take you a while. But free to play. They in 72 hours, 10 million players.
Yeah. I can't believe that they got 10 million players.
Nuts.
For a game, and this is the genius of the internet and marketing the right way and viral marketing. and getting the right influencers.
Yeah.
Which I hate using that term, by the way, but this is the right way
No,
to use
because it was the highest watched game on Twitch for the past 3 days.
Yeah, because that's what to me an influencer is someone who does something and can influence you. I hate when people are like, I'm an influencer. No, that's egotistical.
No.
Like someone else can call you that. But anyways, I don't like that as a label for certain reasons. But this is a great case of the right people pitching the right thing, and it wasn't a fire festival.
Yeah, and then they did a thing where they said available now.
Yep.
Then all of a sudden you see on different Twitch streams that they had a partnership. You know, so if you're not familiar with how people stream on Twitch and YouTube, there are sponsored streams. A company will pay you. You'll put it in your title.
Yep.
Like everybody's pretty honest about it. They don't. It's not shady to where you like don't know that they're being sponsored. It's completely labeled that they were paid for X amount of time. They had Doc. They had Ninja. They had Tim the Tatman. They probably had some people on YouTube. I just don't watch YouTube gaming, so I'm sorry. But
it's not
those 3 people alone. You look at their numbers. It was at least 40,000 people watching each of those streams.
Yeah.
Summit somehow wasn't partnered, but he had 40,000 people watching the game. I've been watching the game no matter what, and then whenever I wasn't watching, I've been playing on PS4 because it's so fun.
Yeah, it's a great. I mean, I like. It's also, if you show that something's sponsored, that's fine.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because you have someone that hopefully they're not being a complete shill about it and being like, look how much fun I'm having. But you can see graphically, to me, if you're watching someone play a game, as opposed to watching like gameplay videos, watching someone play a game and listening to them talking about what they're doing gets you a better connection and understanding of what's going on in a way that a trailer cannot. This is a better way to sell games than anything else.
Yeah.
It's why Twitch has so many people watching.
Yeah.
Because we love video games, and there's a possibility that I'll see someone playing a game, and they'll sell me on it just because I see their connection, how much fun they're having.
And not everything can be shadow dropped. Like, for example, I keep mentioning Jedi Fallen Order. There's I bought Battlefront 2, so it's not like I'm perfect or anything, but I want to see the game before I buy it. I like after Battlefront 2 and how much I got burned by that game, even though I went into, but I played the campaign. It was okay. Everybody knows about the loot box stuff. I want to see what Respawn does with Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
That's not a game that I want shadow dropped. But this game where it's just this BR, it is in the Titanfall universe, which I'll go into more in just a second. But they didn't put Titanfall in the name, so nobody's going to know what it is. Completely viral, like that's how you do a BR game like this, where you don't try and hype it up beforehand and say, look at our BR, look how awesome it is. Nope, it's out right now, just play it.
It doesn't have Battle Royale in the title.
Yeah.
And removing Titanfall from there is a great way to make sure you're not alienating people who are like, I didn't play the other games. You don't understand. They're just like, I don't like it, and I'm not going to play it. I don't like Titanfall.
Stinks and I don't like it.
Yeah, well, you're basically making people feel like they already have to have bought into the brand. Before doing this, even if it's not really a sequel. People think, well, I don't really know what's going on. I don't know what's going on in the Kingdom Hearts universe. I'm not going to buy Kingdom Hearts 3. In this case, you're just like, here's a new thing, and you don't have to know anything else. And the title told you that.
And I hate that I can't remember his name right now, but he put it out in a tweet. He's one of the head people over at Respawn. He said, instead of trying to hype it up, instead of trying to make it an event, we said, let's just go ahead and ship the game and let the game sell itself. And so far, we don't know if it's going to sustain. Anybody who's saying it's a Fortnite killer is out of their mind. But if they keep doing like stuff like this, if they build on this momentum and create events and have cool skins and have special things that keep bringing the community into this game, then they're at least going to be a contender to stick around like PUBG and Fortnite has.
I think if they learn from what Fortnite does, and it'd be really hard to do this, but if they learn from the way Fortnite continues to literally change the game, change the environment, keep everyone on their toes. You don't have to have live events, but changing the map up is huge, because that means if you haven't played it in a couple weeks, it's almost like playing you get to explore and you get to find new things to exploit.
And you get some of that FOMO too, where it's like it keeps it from getting stale. Where like I've been playing the same map for 2 weeks. What? There's snow on the map now?
Yep. The ice grenades. What is this? Like, there's so many cool things. It keeps you interested. If they can do that, that'll be great.
And they absolutely should.
Yeah. So hopefully they do, and hopefully they give more maps. They change up the current maps. It'd be really cool.
Now I mentioned that they took Titanfall out of the name, so technically this game is in the universe. They did go ahead and come out and say at virtually the same time, because people started asking questions, where's Titanfall 3?
Yep.
Apparently that, again, I had no idea. Like, I'd heard it was good.
Yeah.
But then now I've heard more than one person say it's the best FPS single-player campaign they've ever played. I hadn't heard that before.
Yeah.
But they are not currently working on Titanfall 3. It doesn't bother me because I never played it, but you have.
I have, and I feel like sometimes if things aren't clicking, that's okay. I feel like it's like that in life. It's like that in business. Because things aren't clicking does not mean what you're doing is bad. Maybe you're doing it the wrong way.
Sure.
Now, if that means, like in this case, they pivoted. They said, "Hey, Titanfall universe, we like the Titanfall universe. Let's pivot a little bit and try this VR." Mm-hmm. That's a really great idea from a business standpoint of going, we don't have to give up. We don't have to keep that, keep selling Big Macs or whatever it is. If Big Macs never sold any...
I need a quarter pounder with cheese.
You take it away. I mean, yeah. But, if your product isn't selling, you can change your product up a little bit. Make it a little bit... And I think that makes it palatable for consumers.
Mr. CEO, our sales are down so on cheeseburgers, so what we've come up with, the McDouble.
It's like, what?
The thing that I keep telling people whenever it comes to this, okay, I get it. So, but you have to recognize Titanfall 1 was extremely innovative. It's different. It's on the ground. It's in the Titan. Like, that's totally cool. They made the mistake of not doing a campaign when they should have to build that world.
Yeah.
And it didn't do well. Titanfall 2, they recognize it. They put in apparently one of the best campaigns ever. There's a fan base that they kind of started building. It sold 6 million copies, which for the amount of money that went into it is not good.
Yeah.
They need to make some money. Like, they do have a Star Wars license now. They are getting paid from that, but they put Apex Legends in the same universe. They did mention, again on Twitter, somebody mentioned the T word. Let them make some money. If there's 10 million people on here, let's just say that they made $10 million. Let's say they made $1 for every person that played the game this weekend.
Yeah.
That's not a lot, but that if you do that over the course of several months, hey, there's some capital to say, hey guys, we got some great ideas for a game called Titanfall 3. Will you let us work on that now?
Which I think is a better idea than sometimes some games are cult classics and it's really cool.
Yeah.
That it's like, that had a growing fan base. It was better than people thought. Bulletstorm, in my opinion, is a good example of that.
Yeah.
Bulletstorm didn't sell very well. But enough people looked at People Can Fly and looked at Bulletstorm and went, let's do a remaster of that. Let's clean it up and give you, and I think that's cool. If all you're doing, and I really hope that team doesn't try to do that, basically if you just keep doing the same thing over, it's the definition of insanity, right? So I'm okay with this pivot. I think it's a good business move.
And they did it with a good game. Like, that's the thing. They did not put this piece of crap out there. There was some reporting by Jason Schreier out there who everybody should love and follow if you don't.
He's great
because he's the best journalist in the business. He said that at some point that this world that they had kind of may have morphed into this Apex Legends for a number of reasons.
Yeah.
Probably one is partly sales. Two, somebody mentioned that the engine is kind of getting old, and so like they need to go next gen on the engine to make Titanfall 3. There's a bunch of stuff in there, but the thing about it is, I get why you'd be upset, but just like how I keep saying about like BioWare and how I'm going to buy Anthem, how I am going to buy Jedi Fallen Order because I like Respawn, but also because I like Star Wars. I buy anything Insomniac puts out. I buy anything Naughty Dog puts out. I buy it like
it's trust.
Yeah.
It's trust, man.
Trust that company. Support your developer. I'm going to be buying a couple characters just to be like, hey, you put out a fun game. This is the most fun couple days I've had in a BR in quite some time.
Yep.
I had not played a BR in months because I had gotten stale on it.
Yeah.
I've loved it. I think it's a cool move. It stinks that we're not getting it right now, but that doesn't mean it's not coming ever. It's just saying like, hey, if we're a developer, we need to make some capital right now.
It's less. It gives them money. Hopefully they get enough money and vote with your wallet, especially with these free games.
Yeah.
Like that's a completely independent choice to say, you know what, I like what I'm doing. You gave me something for free. Let me give you something back.
Yeah.
Because
that's how Fortnite made $2 billion last year.
Exactly how they made $2 billion. And their average, I think, average player spent like $80 some. I think it's 87 was the average player, which means that some people spent no money, and they still have people spending that much more money on them.
With all of that said, out of just Respawn, as a bigger thing, EA is having themselves a year to build on.
Yeah. Starting
with something like Apex Legends. They have some other stuff in the works. They have Plants vs. Zombies.
I don't care.
I love the first one. The second one was full of ads.
This is the great example of just completely beating something into the ground.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's because it has the same has zombies in it. Same thing with Walking Dead, the TV show.
Oh no.
It's beaten. It's like okay, we're over that. The actors, Supernatural is a great example of that. Actually, the actors themselves have said, we don't want to. I mean, this is not fun for us anymore.
Yeah.
We do this for the fans. You could cancel the show now, please. They've literally said that. Plants vs. Zombies, I don't care. I don't care. Unless it's something crazy innovative, I don't care.
I would care. The problem that happened with 2 was that they made it microtransaction.
Yes.
Like, they didn't just put out a quality game. And it was Plants vs. Zombies 1 is still, to this day, one of the best mobile games I've played.
Yeah,
and it wasn't full.
So.
Like, it just stood on its own. You gave them the $5 or whatever it was, and it had several hours for that $5. Whereas 2, they started putting things where it's like, you need to buy this weapon, it'll make this match easier.
Yep.
But along with that, we've already talked about, we have the Apex Legends, we have Star Wars. They're working on other Need for Speed.
That could be fun.
I'm sure Kevin's the driving guy, right?
Burnout more than
Is
anything.
It just Burnout?
Need for Speed, okay. But Need for Speed is another quality game, a quality driving game, and it's wonderful that they're working on that.
Yeah. And the most interesting one to kind of wrap up EA's cool week, and everything is that have you ever messed with EA Access before?
I have heard about it. I haven't really messed with it. I know it's like the early access stuff and
well, there's that, and the other plans were they could also kind of in the. It was kind of an EA Game Pass situation.
Okay.
Where they would also give you access to some of the old EA games. I don't know if they gave you everything because it was on Xbox only. That's the big thing. It's on Xbox and PC.
Yeah.
They came out during their meeting. They had their own shareholder. I guess a lot of people are having shareholders meetings. They had their own shareholder meeting, and they mentioned that EA Access might be coming to another console.
Yeah.
They were not specific.
I got money on a console.
Which one?
Switch.
I don't think so.
You don't think it's going to be the Nintendo Switch?
No. Why would it be? I mean, no, that's the wrong way to put it.
Oh, sure.
The thing is right now when you think about EA games that are on the Switch, there's a FIFA game, there's an NBA game.
Yeah.
The thing that I think that you go after is a company that has now passed 94 million units sold.
Oh, I mean,
and was as a change to something I said last week whenever I said Nintendo was the highest selling console of 2018. That was actually wrong by 400,000 units because PlayStation 4 was the highest selling console of 2018.
I would so that I was predicting Nintendo, and I still kind of feel like it could be Nintendo because of Sony's business practices. I agree from EA's standpoint. Heck yeah, you go after that, you get that money.
Yeah,
because that is a built-in player base. It's a huge built-in player base.
Yeah,
and PlayStation doesn't have a PlayStation. Well, they have the Play whatever PlayStation. I don't freaking know what it's called. The subscription streaming. Yeah, PlayStation Now. I forgot the name of it because it's so bad. But if
it's gotten better.
It's gotten better. Okay, I haven't tried in a while, but. That's right. They allow you to download games now. Okay, that makes it better.
They took that from Xbox.
Yep. So now, if they allowed EA in there and having this type of connection, it's a great example from EA. Is it something that PlayStation can see the value in when they're already top of the game, if you will?
Absolutely. I think they can just from a thing of processing the transaction. Just from that thing, like, because this isn't free. This isn't like you have to pay EA for this.
Yeah,
it's just like another.
And PlayStation will take a percentage.
It's the a la carte situation that we're in now with the Netflixes and everything. The thing that Netflix started. Yeah. You can thank them for that. And
everything as a service. Yeah. Streaming as a service. Games
is it
as
awesome?
a service.
Is it not? Who's to say down the road? But so EA was like, hey, let's make even more money while we can. You can have access to old games. You can get access to stuff early. I don't know all the perks, but yeah, you put that on there, and you just get to siphon off your little money.
And I think from a business standpoint, I think that's a great example. From a business standpoint, it's to say, should we say no to this revenue?
Yeah.
And I don't think, depending on what they're getting out of it, depending on how they feel about it, I'm worried that they feel like that it's going to attack their bottom dollar in regards to the first-party games. But at the same time, I don't think they have to worry about that.
Because the sun will come out tomorrow?
Because the sun will come out tomorrow.
That's your bottom dollar?
Seriously. But seriously, like, what with all the games that are coming to PlayStation, that being said, critically, I think they're going to do well, which we're going to have our video game draft hopefully next week if we can.
If you reminds Robert, you need to email me.
Yeah, so we'll send out some tweets and stuff about it.
Yeah.
But from a critical standpoint, I think PlayStation's got some great heavy hitters coming out this year. I don't know how they're going to sell.
They're not talking about them. Who knows?
Ghost of Tsushima and
Days Gone.
Yeah, Days Gone. Shadows Die Twice.
Theoretically, Last of Us 2. Still to see that. I think I might have predicted that to happen, but I can't remember.
I can't remember.
They won't say.
I don't know. I'm hopeful that it comes out this year. I hope that is. It's basically what it's going to be, because once you find out there's a PlayStation 5 coming out at some point, all right, there's whatever's in development right now, finish up and get everyone else get over on the next console.
Just like when Last of Us happened. Last of Us happened at the end of PS3 life cycle. I was on the Xbox 360, and then I heard about The Last of Us being that game that you have to play, and I was like, oh, you know what? That's the reason I bought a PS4 originally. Yeah. I was like, I need to play this one game, and then PS4 ended up being the best console of the generation.
Yeah.
But that's going to be Last of Us 2. Like, that's going to be a game, if you weren't aware, that's going to be on the PlayStation 5 also. So if you're like, I don't know what to do. But honestly, this is probably... There's never been a better time to jump in on the PS4.
Yeah.
Based on sales alone.
Sales alone.
You can get Assassin's Creed Odyssey on PS4 right now for $25.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many great games. It's an amazing time to be a gamer. I would say The Last of Us is one of those games. It's not a once in a lifetime kind of thing, but it's once in a generation, a console generation, that a game causes everyone to go, oh, I'm buying this.
And we still don't talk about the ending ever.
Still don't talk about it. No, I would say Halo was a big one back in the day. To me, during the PS3
Halo 2
era,
especially.
Yeah, PS3 early era, Uncharted tried to be that, and to me it was
Uncharted is what started dragging them out of the. That was the beginning.
That's what got me to buy a PS3.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this game looks amazing. I love the wit, but there's certain games in every generation that gravitate you towards it. So yeah, they need to make sure that whatever's the new hotness that they're going to come out with, save it and get it on that PS5.
I really wonder what, like, after Xbox announcing this thing, after doing the Microsoft Xbox Live, on Switch possibly somehow, just kind of like that little sprinkle, the fact that Sony's not talking. I'm not afraid for Sony. I'm just wondering what, like, I heard somebody else talking about this on a different podcast that I listened to, so I don't want to completely rip it off, but just the fact that you look at Nintendo of the 90s, which I mentioned earlier, and you look at PlayStation right now, like, I see a lot of similarities in that they're not talking to everybody else. They're kind of being like, hey, we're the best place to play, and you know it. How long is that going to be the case?
And is the PS5 going to be their N64?
The N64 was still great.
I liked the N64, but that was the generation that everyone went, hold on, there's the PlayStation, there's something else here, and it's great.
I hit that with GameCube. So like I loved my 64 because it got Zelda, 3D Zelda, and Mario Kart,
and GoldenEye.
Yeah, Super Smash. Anyway, so that's many. But GameCube though is like, Mario. Why does Mario have a water jetpack? What is this? I don't 64. Get it.
Yeah.
What is it? Mario Sunshine.
Mario Sunshine, sorry.
That's the GameCube.
Yeah.
And so, and then, like, why is Link all, like, cel-shaded? What kind of art is this? Like, that was where I started to be like, hey, Sony.
I hated Wind Waker when I saw it, when I tried to play it. I tried to play it repeatedly. Yeah. Now I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it was a thing where, like, as an adult, I was like, "Oh, this game's so pretty."
Yeah,
it was totally a teen angst thing where I was like, I wanted my after Ocarina and Majora's even. And Majora's I also kind of still hated because you couldn't be adult Link.
Couldn't be adult Link.
Like it was that thing where I was like 15 years old and I'm like, why do I have to be kid Link?
Ooh,
I'm an adult now. I'm teen Link. I'm supposed to be 17.
Now I played Hello Neighbor for a couple hours the other day. It's like I don't mind playing as a kid. No, it's a different perspective. But yeah, I agree.
Now I'm old and I want to be a kid. Peter Pan action going on.
Exactly.
It's one of those things. Anyways, I wonder if PlayStation's like if it's like a thing that goes around, and this is a weird industry where like if you're the top dog, we don't have to necessarily innovate. You're the ones that have to beat us right now. We've already innovated in the fact that they made a big, very strong push in PS3 to PS4's life cycle, saying we're going to focus on video games, and we're going to make, and they're killing it.
Yeah,
and that caused both Microsoft and Nintendo like, hey, we need to do something different. And
smart of Nintendo.
This next like 2 years, I think is as exciting as the last 2 years were, because 2017 and 18 have been some of the best years in gaming ever.
Yeah.
What's going to happen in 19 and 20? It's crazy.
I have a feeling, and I'm going to make a quick prediction, and then we'll wrap up. But my prediction is that the next console generation is going to go to Xbox and Microsoft. As much as I love Nintendo and all of that, I think that Xbox is going to position themselves for not only being an innovator in regards to graphics and all of that. I think they're realizing they need to have the killer app, if you will. They need to have those first party titles or exclusive titles. And I think Xbox has positioned themselves to not necessarily dethrone Sony. This next generation, they may get like about the same sales, and then you're gonna have this kind of cyclical action where Sony will no longer be necessarily the top dog.
Yeah, which. Again, as you already mentioned, competition breeds
ingenuity.
And so Sony would make, but I'm going to make an addendum to your prediction and say the two Seattle-based companies in the United States, being Microsoft and Nintendo, start to do some Power Rangers action, and
that'd be amazing.
They just start working again. Imagine Virtual Console on Xbox.
Yeah.
Imagine Phil Spencer walking out with a Switch. These are the amazing things. Do you want that to happen?
I would lose it. I would be so happy. Let us know in the comments what you think about the news, and let us know what game drove you to buy a console. What was that killer app? Yeah. Was it Mario 64, Ocarina of Time?
Was it a DVD player like the PlayStation 2?
Let us know what that was. Tell us your story, and we'll see you later.